Welcome to CimiiFamilia channel. Today we are doing review of Corsair Force LS SSD 120 gigabytes. I received this SSD from Corsair today, so we're gonna try this on my system and see how it behaves. Hi to all, so let's continue this video of testing this Corsair SSD. I prepared a couple of benchmark programs that we're going to use today. I prepared Crystal Disk Mark, 50 megabytes of one run. We're gonna test it to see how it's going to behave. This is the Corsair 120 gigabytes of SSD. So we started this benchmark and we're gonna see how it's going to behave in this benchmark test. So this is going to last a couple of minutes, so be with me and let's together watch results. I'm going to tell you I'm watching these results for the first time as you. Okay, not so bad, but definitely not so good. 500 plus, it's a good result. This is something in the mid-range result. Definitely didn't blow my mind, but let's bear to the end. "4K readings is what you need to watch the most. That's the copying of small files, because 99% you're going to copy the small files. On SSD that is large, 120 gigabytes, you're definitely not going to copy movies, music and something like that. So small files, lots of read and write on it, and that's all. Okay, I'm definitely not blown away. Definitely cannot tell you that this is the best bang for the bucks. Now we're gonna test it with ASSD benchmark. I'm using on AMD chipset SATA 3, so you see the best result it can give. I see the good results here. This is the really good results, and now I see that I'm testing my Crucial SSD. Okay, sorry guys, this is the honest mistake. Now we're going to test again Corsair. Sorry, didn't want to mislead you or anything, just my stupid mistake. Okay, now you see the big difference. On Crucial, I had around 500. This is around 215. And I'm going to tell you, my SSD is a mid-range SSD. I paid it around 110 euros. And this SSD is Corsair is worth around 60 euros. But for my SSD you get twice as much storage. And you see on this test you got almost twice as better results on my SSD. And again, I'm telling you, it's not best as SSD. I'm using Crucial MX 100 256 gigabytes. I bought it because it was the best bang for the bucks. Best buy SSD at that time. This Corsair Force LS 120 gigabytes is entry level at the most. If you don't have SSD, if you want to start using SSD, you're gonna see that big difference. That big difference you're going to see between HDD and SSD. In the everyday usage, you won't see any difference like you see in these benchmarks. This is just for testing. You're mainly going to use your SSD for boot up time, for loading time in games, for copying files, and etc. So you won't see any of this big difference in everyday usage. So 50 euros is a good price for this SSD. But as you see, we got ultimate score 300. It's a low score. Okay, now I'm going to test it my Crucial to see is there any difference. It's going to be a big difference because I know how my SSD behave. And again, my SSD is half full, and this SSD is brand new, nothing on it. Okay, you see here is a big gap between my SSD and Corsair SSD. Again, this is entry-level Corsair SSD. Don't throw rocks on it, because I personally admire Corsair company because they have great customer support and they always are there for the buyers. I must bow to that because not many companies do that for their buyers. I personally, when I go to shopping, I first look for Corsair, then everything else, because I want, when I need it, customer support is always there. But this SSD is not out there. If I would buy it, I would be definitely unpleased. But I want best of my SSD. Okay, as you see, my SSD have 858 score. It's a lot better than that other SSD. Corsair is this SSD is entry level. I told it a couple of times and I want for you to know it. Now we're gonna test it in a real world situation, everyday usage. For just going to show you copying files that there is not any difference between my Crucial and this new Corsair. I personally gonna give this Corsair to my girlfriend because she's amazed how big difference is between HDD and SSD. Okay, let's try this. Okay, this is a 1.2 gigabyte size. For HDD it would take a long time to copy. Let's see how long time copying from one SSD to another. Instant. As you see, maybe 1-2 seconds. Let's copy back just to delete this. Okay, I'm gonna copy this back. Let's see now. Again, instant, 2 seconds at the most. So you see, guys, there is not such a big difference. If you're not looking for a needle in a haystack. I don't know how to say it on English. Sorry, my English is not native language. So as you see, there is not a lot of difference between these two SSDs in everyday usage. You could use both and never to see any difference. Again, if I would welcome you to buy this SSD if you have a limited budget. Again, subscribe and vote, share this on my channel. I'm gonna have many reviews in the future. Thank you for watching videos with CimiiFamilia, and I hope you're going to come back.